And welcome back as we continue to showcase the candidates that are still left, and they are running for an office, a very important office. And joining us now is Robert Allain, the third candidate for State Senate, District 21. I'm still trying to get used to Robert Allain from Brett Allain, and certainly, but looks like you made a name for yourself. You finished first in the primary, but of course, election day. So 21 minutes, I know it's not a lot of time, but just give us your overall expectation, your overall thoughts on the results, and we'll start with that.
Yeah, look, we were truly honored and humbled to be in first, especially with the positive race we ran. Nothing negative came out of my campaign. We're really proud of that fact, and I think that's a testament to the people continuing to say, we don't want to see negativity. We want to know who you are, what you stand for, what your qualifications are, and we want to make our informed decision based on that.
Yeah. You're going to be going to Baton Rouge. There's so many different things that we have to deal with. Water control structures, as you know, levee systems, as you well know. But we're used to hearing about those, so we could talk a little bit about those, but some other things that seem to be on the back burner, but probably need more attention. We have an opioid crisis, not only here, nationwide. What would you see yourself being able to do and being able to advocate that might help that crisis out? Because it seems like, I know there's a lot of agencies around here that spend a lot of time trying, but the numbers still get there. What could we do?
Yeah, I think you've got to give law enforcement the tools they need, especially for the opioid, but also all illegal drugs or drugs that are getting abused, is giving law enforcement the tools to combat that. I think that we need to work on, especially the opioids, making sure at the point that they're getting abused that we can make sure we temper that down and make sure they're not getting out there in the numbers that they are.
Mm-hmm. What are some of the things, I was reading through your resume a while back, and you're young, not too young, you got a pretty good resume going, I was looking at it. What are some of the things that you're proud of, boards that you've served on, that maybe people don't know yet?
I'd say I'm really proud of my Master 100-ton captain's license. I've always advocated for secondary education, not necessarily a 4-year degree, but programs like SLCC offered a maritime program. So I went and earned my Master 100 Tons captain's license, and I started my marine company from scratch as a captain. So that I'm very proud of, and always advocating for programs and schools like that. St. Mary Parish Chamber of Commerce, I've been on that board, stepped down to run for this office, but just really involved in the community and always wanting to have a better understanding of the pulse of my community.
Mm-hmm. I'm sure with a captain's license, you're very familiar with coastal restoration and coastal erosion, for that matter. What are your thoughts on that? And if successful, how, as a senator, would you bring your voice to Baton Rouge to get things done?
Yeah, I mean, look, we've spent so much money on levee systems, coastal restoration, and I fish out of Cocodrie. My place is on Redfish Street, so I see what a storm does and how important rebuilding that land and reinforcing our levees, our pumps, our control structures are. I would be advocating for new ideas for funding, because here pretty soon we're going to run out of some of the BP money that's funding a lot of these CPRA projects. I'd like to think outside the box. We're draining a lot of the nation's water, and I think we need to go to these other states. I don't think it's fair for our state to take everybody's water and everybody's sediment and us foot the entire bill. I think we need to explore different ideas for getting help from all these other states, going all the way up to Minnesota on the Mississippi.
You bring up a good point. That money, I mean, for a few years we've enjoyed some pretty good monies coming in, a lot because of disasters in the past, but whatever the reason, monies have been put to good use, good projects have been built. You made the point yourself, thinking out of the box What are ways we can bring in more revenue or do more things? It's probably on your mind because you said it. So we really do have to think out the box, don't we?
Yeah, if you've got, like, as a businessman, I've always tried to get in front of problems. And you cannot wait until you run out of a funding source to say, you can't just call on the federal government and say, hey, we have a crisis now. We need you to write us a big check. You've got to be proactive and go and find these funding sources and have a plan.
Let's do this. We'll take a break now because I don't want to start another question with a minute
Sure.
left. We'll add it to the second segment. So we'll be right back with Robert Allain III. Once again, he is a candidate for State Senate District 21, and we're getting as many candidates on as we can. Each gets 21 minutes, so we'll take a break. We'll be right back. Today's social media segment is brought to you by Parabon General Health Systems, modern technology, and timeless caring. Rouse's, you're either local or you're not. Buick, the craft of modern luxury. St. Martin and Bourke, know your rights. South Louisiana Bank, it's better when we bank together. Waits and Downer, attorneys at law. Terrebonne Ford, built Ford tough. Alford and Associates, for all of your insurance needs. CIS, Cardiovascular Institute of the South, the highest quality cardiovascular care available. Barker Honda, the Barker family tradition of quality. All right, we are back with Robert Allain III, and he is a candidate for Senate District 21. Let's talk about insurance because you're going to get a chance with a new governor, get a chance with a new insurance commissioner. Slate's clean. If elected, you would be new. So a lot of new people at the table,
Yep.
which may be good. Maybe that's good in a way. Insurance is unaffordable now. People are pulling their hair out. Their anxiety levels are at a clip we've never seen. Sometimes the insurance is more than the mortgage. What could you do?
I think you've got to attack insurance, and we talked a little bit about thinking outside of the box. Insurance is a huge problem, and you're getting people that are leaving the state that are not buying insurance, so you're shrinking your base. Also, when people are paying their houses off, a lot of them are self-insuring, so you're really losing out of both sides of your base. We've got to get that base back up, and I think with a strong economy, getting more companies to write insurance in our state, and we can do that in several ways. I think we've got to increase the market, make it more competitive, and expand our base, more and more people buying insurance. Also, like we talked about, thinking outside the box, I think we need to hold insurance companies accountable, and maybe this is a regional thing, like a southeastern conference of states that don't allow an insurance company to go right in, an Arkansas that is, not, it's a safer market than coastal. Mm-hmm. But when when the state pays out money for a program that is incentivizing, they can't just run down here, get some money, and then go back to Arkansas. I'd like to see a coalition. Yeah. I'd like to see a coalition and holding these insurance companies accountable. They need to come down here and write without just running back and forth.
Sure, the insurance companies will find a way to call that unconstitutional. But hey, take the fight to them. I agree with you. It's almost epic proportions that we're seeing this, and it's quite astonishing. Let's talk about legacy lawsuits. We all have friends that are lawyers. We all have friends on the other side that don't want to see any more lawsuits. I guess I have the luxury of being a news person. I can be right in the middle and ask the questions. But, both sides do make some points, and the points have been argued and argued and argued. Where would you fall with legacy lawsuits if elected senator?
Specifically for the oil and gas?
Right.
as a farmer, I have to keep my sugarcane fields, everything that I do, I have to keep all of my sites clean. And I think oil and gas companies have done a good job moving forward as the years go on about keeping clean and being responsible stewards of the land. But as far as suing for something that happened many, many years ago, I don't see how that's productive at all. You've got so many factors going into it. You just can't sue somebody just because.
And I was talking with some people in the oil field this week, and you make a good point. There's give and take on both sides, but I think in general, not only in the legacy lawsuits, but anywhere else, that legislation of today is being brought up because of the sins of the past.
Yep.
At what point is there a dividing line where you can say, okay, whoa, we're not our grandfather's generation, we're not our father's generation, we're a new generation, penalize us now for what we do. Is that sort of what you're thinking?
Yeah, absolutely. And look, I've got a lot of friends in the oil and gas community, and my district is heavy oil and gas economy driven. Mm-hmm. And if there is a problem that's happened, I know of several cases where companies that were asked by landowners, hey, this site, needs to be cleaned up, and they go and take care of it, without getting lawyers involved. So I would like to see that. If you have a problem, a lot of these companies are willing to go and do what they need to do to clean anything up.
So I guess more self-regulation.
Sure.
Yeah. Okay. Roads. I know you got to be hearing about roads. Everybody's hearing about roads. People are confused. What's a state road? What's a local road? But around here, we have a lot of state roads that are pretty much in deplorable condition. And it seems like maybe they were put on the back burner. I don't know the answer. It'd be unfair for me to criticize anybody. Maybe they were put up and just never got heard. What would you do about the roads?
The first thing I would do is make sure all funds that are allocated to roads, that 100% of that money is going to roads. I would like to work with Department of Transportation and make sure they have the resources they need, that we're not wasting money on roads. You can't, as a businessman, I don't lay out something short term. It's a long-term plan. I've seen instances where they build a road and then 2 years later they're tearing that whole road up and rerouting. I think there's a lot of waste, and I think with some more planning we can do better. I'd also like to see Highway 90 become the corridor that it deserves to be. There's a lot of traffic coming from Texas, coming from passing up Highway 90 to get to New Orleans or Florida, going east or going west, that would have taken 90 if it was a better option. And I think that's the growth this area needs. I think we're poised for growth here because growth follows interstate corridors. And I think that's what this area really needs.
And I think you're correct on that. I think if we go back to the past, I could be wrong, but maybe it's folklore, but I've heard so many times that people didn't want 90 coming through here because they were protecting lands and different things. You're prepared to take that a step further and say, we need 90 coming through here.
I think we do. Look, we've been through a rough couple of years. We've had COVID. We've had Ida. This area, this district, we're resilient, and I think we're poised for growth. You've got people my age, my generation, wanting to stay here, wanting to put down roots here. We've got to give them the roads. We've got to give businesses the infrastructure they need to be here.
All right, let's do this. We'll take a break. We'll come back for the third and final segment with candidate Robert Allain III. He is running for Senate District 21. Don't go away. Today's social media segment is brought to you by Terrebonne General Health Systems, modern technology, and timeless caring. Rouse's, you're either local or you're not. Buick, the craft of modern luxury. St. Martin and Bourke, know your rights. South Louisiana Bank, it's better when we bank together. Waits and Downer, attorneys at law. Terrebonne Ford, built Ford tough. Alford and Associates, for all of your insurance needs. CIS,
Cardiovascular Institute of the South, the highest quality cardiovascular care available. Barker Honda, the Barker family tradition of quality.
And welcome back. Martin Falls here, back again with Robert Allain III. He is a candidate for that Senate race in District 21. His father was there for a long time and very successful in his position. So we appreciate you coming and being here. Let's talk about seafood, because no fines have been levied against people that bring in seafood illegally or don't market properly. Had the lieutenant governor on not long ago. He was outraged by the fact that the boards that are supposed to be legislating this aren't really doing a good job. Your thoughts on that?
Yeah, look, I'm a rule follower. I'm a letter of the law kind of guy. And I've been a commercial alligator hunter for 20 years. So I know the markets, and the seafood market in particular. We've got to stop illegal imports. We've got to stop illegal marketing and packaging. You know, my area, and especially Morgan City, you know, they have problems we've got a nice shrimp dock. It's hard for those guys with the prices to even make a living. With all of this flooded market of misplaced, mispackaged seafood, it's not helping the commercial fishermen.
It would leave it up to people. I mean, like I said on previous shows, I ask when I go to a restaurant,
Yep.
Am I eating Louisiana shrimp? Now, some of them go, well, not really. I don't order it. So, I mean, so a lot of people, it's up to us as citizens to ask, but furthermore, it's up to the state to regulate. Just real quick, what's the biggest alligator you ever caught?
12 foot 4 inches.
That was hard to handle, I bet.
Yes, it was.
Yes, indeed. All right, Nichols State, so big for the area, so big for industry, so big for keeping people. I know you talked about 2-year degrees to keep people in the workforce, which I love that idea. Just people need to work, people need workers. Nichols State, what are your thoughts on making sure that keeps funded?
Nichols is a huge part of the lifeblood and the economy of Thibodaux, but also Senate District 21. Mm-hmm. And Nichols has some great things happening right now. There's a new nursing center being built. There's going to be a new coastal center. I want Nichols to be the epicenter of coastal restoration. There's going to be a ton of federal and state dollars spent on that. I want the people of Senate District 21 and Thibodaux and the surrounding areas to be on the forefront of that. Mm-hmm. Nichols is a great place, a great school. I'd love to do my MBA there one day. I'm a little busy at the moment, mm-hmm. but I'm going to get over there and do that. But Nichols has a great presence and a huge community buy-in, and it's just absolutely vital that we keep Nichols funded and on the front edge of everything. For example, during the COVID, we had all the nursing shortage. Mm-hmm. Imagine the number of nurses Nichols will be able to turn out now.
Which is a great point, which brings me to another question. When you have to deal with the CEOs of the local hospitals, there's so many medical centers, all of them specializing in different things, all of them so vital to the economy, because where you have a successful city, you better have a successful medical center. If you don't, it's going to implode. What are some of the things you could do to help the medical facilities? Like you said, nursing is one of them, but other ways to help them.
Yeah, and I think Nichols is in such a great position with the size of school it is. It can pivot quickly. You know, same thing with the SLCC and those type of programs. They have the ability to pivot quickly to the needs of industry. And that's always, you know, you can build a big, great school and turn out all the greatest people in this particular field. If that field is not needed, you're kind of wasting your time. So I think Nichols has done a great job of matching industry needs, local needs, and turning out those types of students.
Let's talk a little bit, with about 2.5 minutes left, a little bit about your family and how it shaped you and And maybe is that one of the reasons why you decided to get in?
Yeah. Look, I grew up a traditional South Louisiana family. You know, we all did our part. My dad was raised on a sugarcane farm. My mom was raised on a dairy farm. You know, we were just raised frugal people, and everyone chipped in to do their part. Everybody had their chores. So that helped shape me at a young age, and I'm raising my kids the same way. The big reason I'm in this race is I watched both of my sisters get educated here, and they left the state for better opportunities. One became a doctor, one became an engineer. They'd have loved to stay here. The opportunities were not here for them. And with the amount of resources we have here, there's no excuse for that. So I looked at my two little girls, and I decided that I wasn't going to sit down and just wait and see what happened. That if I could do something about it, I don't want them to have to make that same decision that my sisters made. So we're going for it. We want a better future. We want reform. And my generation is letting everybody know that.
Got about a minute and a half left, maybe final question. Large budget in Baton Rouge. What makes you qualified to handle such a large budget? And I know y'all have had a big family business for a long time, but what makes you qualified to be the penny counter?
So family sugarcane farm, it's a large budget. We have a large farm, and you know, having to watch the price increases of equipment, you've got to make smart decisions. And then I started my own marine company from scratch. I built my first barge. I watched every single penny. I didn't take salary for 2 years. I think being frugal when you don't have money makes you, when you do have money, spend it more wisely.
All right. Robert, thank you so much for coming. Thanks for running. We appreciate that. We'd like to see good young blood get in the races. We appreciate it. And thank you so much, and look forward to talking with you all as the race develops.
Thank you.
Thank you. Once again, Robert Allain III. He is a candidate for District 21 here in the area. So once again, I just want to urge everybody watching these programs, go out and vote. Make your voice heard. Already we're being touted as low voter turnout. You can make that difference. Get those numbers up. And once again, everybody gets a shot on Bayou time. We'll see you around the corner.